Some of the easiest and most beginner friendly points to earn and redeem in the points and miles world are Southwest and Hyatt points. These two together can get you some amazing nearly free vacations. Listen in as we share our favorite Hyatt and Southwest sweet spots, plus ones we're hoping to try out soon. Welcome to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad. We are three moms who've discovered how to leverage credit card welcome offers to get hundreds of thousands of dollars of travel expenses for nearly free. We've used credit card points and miles to take vacations to places like Hawaii, Paris, Greece, Maldives, Japan, and so much more. And the best part, we each still have 800 plus credit scores. Imagine being able to take the vacation of your dreams for nearly free. It's totally possible, and we're here to show you how. Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Jess. Let's talk points. So, Alex, why don't you tell us where Pam is today, why she's not here?
Well, Pam got sick. My mom got sick. You guys, I have no idea how she got sick. I do not know where this came from, but she's not feeling well. No, I'm just kidding. When we were on our recent trip, I might have gotten her sick. I got something in the middle of the trip, and then she unluckily got that. But the good news is she made it home before she started feeling really terrible. I had it while we were there. So, I mean, she's doing a little better than me because she can just go lay in her bed and go to sleep.
And I don't think she's the only one either, right? Weren't there a few Orge family members that got sick because of you?
Yes, actually everybody. But let me just say this in my defense. I was not sick when I went on this trip. It was like day 4 of the trip when I started feeling bad. So I know everyone's going to be thinking like it's probably COVID. It was not COVID. We did test for that and it wasn't COVID, but it was some very bad cold.
But Alex is a super spreader of something nonetheless. So there we go. But anyways, that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about Hyatt and Southwest sweet spots. You all know that we are obsessed with Hyatt, and Alex and I pretty much exclusively fly Southwest with our families. I don't recall the last time my family didn't fly Southwest. And so we really love combining these two programs together to get an entire vacation on points. Like Southwest for flights, Hyatt for hotels, all we're paying is the taxes on those Southwest flights. And so these two are like a power duo together when they work together. And why we love them so much is that it is so easy to earn these points from Chase and then transfer them to Hyatt and Southwest. Each of them, like Hyatt, there are 2 Hyatt cards. There's a personal and a business card. And then with Southwest, there's 3 personal cards and 2 business cards. Granted, you can only have 1 personal Southwest card at a time. But because there are so many options and you can transfer from Chase, it's like a whole world of opportunity when it comes to these points. It's also really straightforward, really beginner friendly to book directly through Hyatt or directly through Southwest. And with both of them, with Southwest, you can cancel your flight and get your points redeposited up until 10 minutes before the flight takes off. I don't know any airline that has that generous of a cancellation policy. And so there is so much peace of mind in booking with Southwest. Same with Hyatt. Like most of the time, you always have to read the cancellation policy, but most of the time, you can cancel your stay 24, 48 hours in advance and get those points redeposited into your Hyatt account. So just so much flexibility with both programs. We actually have in-depth guides that we are going to link in the show notes. They are completely free. One is the ultimate guide to Southwest, and then the other is the ultimate guide to Hyatt, both full of info, how to earn the points, how to redeem the points, tips for booking, etc. And so definitely grab both of those free guides that we are linking in the show notes.
Yeah, I just feel like if someone is just starting out, Hyatt and Southwest is like a winning combo for
Yeah.
ease of use, understanding, opening the cards. All of it is just so simple. You're not dealing with transfer part like airline alliances and so many different tricky things that can be overwhelming. It is the perfect entry level into points and miles, I think, is Hyatt and Southwest.
And I think it's also a testament to how great it is that both of us still are using this combo all the time. And
Yeah,
we've been doing this for like almost a decade, and we still regularly are booking Southwest flights and Hyatt stays. And so it's like whether you're a beginner or you've been doing this for a decade, you like there's no combo as good as this one.
totally.
Alex is going to kick it off. We're going to talk about some of our like Hyatt and Southwest sweet spots that we really love that we've actually done, and then at the end, we're gonna kinda talk about our wish list of like Southwest and Hyatt combos that we are looking forward to booking in the future. But for now, Alex, tell us about one of your favorite Hyatt Southwest sweet spots.
Okay, so my favorite, and dare I say, one of the absolute best sweet spots is Hawaii. And this is one that my family has done twice now. We have it booked again for later this year. Southwest is hands down my go to airline for flying to Hawaii. I remember when they announced that they were going to start flying to Hawaii years ago, and I was so excited because it just gave a whole new option of points earnings that I could, start earning and redeeming to get even more ways to get there. And so great when you can have the Southwest Companion Pass to get someone there for free with you. That's just a game changer. And we've talked about that a ton. But one reason why I love Southwest flights to Hawaii too is for me being in Salt Lake City, I would say every single airline has a red eye flight home. And they literally would like ruin my trip sometimes. So like the last couple days, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to take that flight home and we'll get home. You'd get home at like 7, 8, 9 a.m., super early. So then you have all day long that you have to stay up after sleeping terrible. So when Southwest released Hawaii flights, my favorite thing was they didn't have the red eye flight. So we leave Hawaii maybe at 8 in the morning, but then we get home and we go to bed and we are not struggling. I feel like that's honestly like we've traveled a lot of places and been in a lot of time zones. I think coming back to Hawaii from Hawaii is one of the hardest. And now that I don't have to do that red eye flight thanks to Southwest, it's just made it so much more enjoyable. So that's one reason why we love Southwest, but also I have had really great prices. So I have flown for as low as 20,000 points round trip per person. And typically, like that's really, really good. Typically, I'd say it's more around 35,000 points per person round trip, which is still really good. We have paid more and you will be paying more if you're going at peak travel times. Like for the holidays, I think it was maybe 30,000 points one way. So it really will fluctuate. The key to Southwest is just to keep checking to see if that price drops. And then if it drops, go ahead and rebook. I've done this so many times to Hawaii where I've booked the flights and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this was so many points. Like, I can't believe we're doing this. And then I just keep checking. And by the time it rolls around, I'm like, oh, that actually wasn't bad priced at all. So definitely keep checking. One little tip for that is to set an alert on Google Flights, and then you will, they'll alert you when the cash price drops down. And because Southwest has dynamic pricing, when the cash price drops, so does the points price. So that'll make it a little easier so you don't have to keep checking all the time. So, as far as hotels though, we really love the Grand Hyatt Kauai. All three of us love that. We've also stayed at the Hyatt Regency Maui. Those are both category 7 now. 7. I had to think about that for a second. Category 7, so you're looking at standard pricing is 30,000 points per night. And then another option is the Hyatt Vacation Club. We've stayed here once and we really liked it. We got the 2-bedroom unit, which was standard pricing for the 2-bedroom is 48,000 points a night. So it's a bit more, but you have 2 bedrooms, the washer, dryer, kitchen, 2 bathrooms, like the condo setup.
And this one is on Maui, and it's right next door to the Hyatt Regency, and they kind of have, like, reciprocal benefits where, like, you can use the pool of the other one if you're staying at one.
Yeah, and we actually like using the pool at the Hyatt Vacation Club because it's not as crowded. Because the one at the Hyatt Regency can get really busy, and I just hate fighting people for chairs, so sometimes we just go to the Hyatt Vacation Club instead. So it's right both of those properties, the Hyatt Regency Maui and Hyatt Vacation Club, are located on Kaanapali Beach, just steps from the water. So great location, and the Hyatt Vacation Club, though, I will say it can be really hard to book on points because it's a timeshare property. The timeshare owners get first dibs, and so you're kind of at the mercy of what's left from if they haven't, spoken for all the units available. So I highly recommend using Max My Point to search for award nights. We actually love it for like all Hyatt hotels, but especially those harder to book destinations. So, yeah, try Max My Point. It also can be helpful if like, I've seen that availability tends to open up more closer to your travel dates. So it's not, that we love to book far in advance. This is one of those properties that maybe booking last minute could work out in your favor. And then another property on Maui is the Andaz Maui. That one's a category 8, so you're looking at 40,000 points. I haven't stayed here yet. I have it booked, but Jess stayed there and was obsessed. Am I correct on that?
You are correct, and I'm heading back there next summer. Already booked it and locked it in, and so I'm really excited about going back.
So, I know you love Grand Hyatt Kauai too, but which would you say is your favorite of those 2?
Okay, so I've had this internal struggle a lot. I like okay, so I prefer the island of Kauai.
Yeah,
And so I feel like that sort of puts the Grand Hyatt first because I would rather go to Kauai if I'm choosing between the 2 islands. But if we put the Andaz Maui on Kauai, then I would stay at the Andaz.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're both amazing. Like, I feel like you can't go wrong with any of these Hyatt properties. I've stayed at the Grand Hyatt, the Regency, and the Andaz. You can't go wrong, really, but
Yeah, and I think, like, all of them are good for families. I think as a family, you would be great at any of those
yes,
properties. As a
agree,
couple, I would only stay at I would stay at the Andaz Maui or the Grand Hyatt Kauai.
agree. I would never stay at the Hyatt Regency Maui as an adults-only trip.
Yeah, I mean, I know people do it and have a great time, but I think when you've already experienced the other ones, it's just nicer. Like, Kaanapali Beach is just a busier area and a lot going on. It's not and then the Andaz Maui is in, Wailea, which is it's much more chill, it's quieter. That is my favorite place.
Yeah, and there's just so many kids at the Hyatt Regency
Yes.
Maui, and there's no like, at the Grand Hyatt Kauai, there's an adults-only pool, but at
Yeah.
the Hyatt Regency Maui, there's not, and so it's one of those things where, like, obviously, I love kids, I have a kid, I don't have a problem with kids, but, like, if I'm not with my kid, I don't wanna be around other people's kids, and so the Hyatt Regency Maui is just not my vibe if I don't have my own kids with
Yeah.
me.
In Andaz Maui, I'm assuming Depp has a adults only pool as well,
Yeah,
I would
it has an
feel.
adults only pool, and it has I think it has, like, 5 pools. Like, I feel like with the Hyatt Regency, there's really just that. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it's technically 2 pools, but it's really, like, just 1 big pool all connected.
Yeah, I don't love the pool there.
It's hard to get away from the kid, like, you can't escape them, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's my, like, number 1 Hyatt sweet spot is Hawaii, Southwest, Hyatt hotels, like, I would be happy to do that sweet spot every single year, and for the most part, I have, like, we've done that trip, whether it's my husband and I or my kids, I think almost every year since we got into this hobby, so needless to say, we're obsessed with Hawaii and doing it with these Hyatt hotels.
Alright, so for my sweet spot, I chose Costa Rica. I think it's kinda not surprising that we're both choosing I mean, I know Hawaii is not an international destination technically, but it feels like an international destination, and I feel like when you have a companion pass and you're able to fly that far and take someone for $5.60, that you just cannot beat that, and I know you have 2 companion passes, and
Yeah.
so for us, I chose Costa Rica because I love it, and there is a direct flight from Houston to Liberia on Southwest Airlines. I have flown it twice, and I'm flying it again next year because I cannot get enough of the Ondas Papagayo in Costa Rica. So me and Molly and my mom flew this route this past February. It was only 17,430 Southwest points round trip to Costa Rica.
I'm so jealous because we have that booked for next year. I can't even tell you how many points it was because it was astronomical. We're flying Southwest as well using the companion pass. So super excited about that because I don't know how we would be doing it without
Otherwise,
companion pass. It was when I tell you so many points, it was maybe 60,000 points round trip per person. I'm not even sure. But I am banking on the fact that those points are gonna drop and I'm gonna get a bunch back.
yeah. So you're going for spring break, right? So a little bit more of a peak time. See, we're lucky because Molly gets these like random weeks. Like she gets a week off in February and a week off in October, which is really nice because those are like prime off peak travel times. If you can go to Costa Rica in mid to late January or basically the entire month of February, you can get an amazing deal, and that is when the weather is the best in Costa Rica, and so it actually works out really well because the off-peak season overlaps with the dry season when the weather is the best, and so February is our favorite time to go.
Is it your mom going with you guys again?
My mom is going with us and Ella's
Okay.
going with us, and so
And you guys get 2 rooms? Did your mom get a room?
yeah, we got 2 rooms because my mom snores and I cannot handle it. And so she has her own room, and then Molly and Ella and I are in another room. Ella actually has a companion pass right now because she got the Southwest personal card when it had one of their promos for, you earn 30,000 points in a companion pass. And so my mom is gonna be Ella's companion.
So nice. And hers expires probably right after that trip, I'm
Yeah, it
guessing?
expires at the end of February. So it actually worked out perfect timing. We actually planned it that way because we're going to Hawaii in December and then we're going to Costa Rica in February. So I was like,
So she is definitely getting her money's worth out of that companion pass.
yeah, she's getting her money's worth.
Or maybe I should say, like, your mom and you are getting your money's worth because she was thinking to be buying your mom's ticket or whatever family member she's taking free with her to Hawaii.
So there's 4 of us going, but we're only paying for 2 tickets
So
and
good.
then the taxes and fees. Taxes and fees are a little bit higher when you're flying internationally. I think for Costa Rica, they were like $76, but still, I will gladly pay $76 for a free flight. So we're going back to the Andaz. This will be my 3rd time at the Andaz. We booked it, like, we basically came home from the Andaz this year, and I was like, "I have to book this again." Like, it's just the best, and my mom was obsessed with it, and so I was like, "Let's go back next year, and you can come, we can do it again or repeat," and so that one is a Category 7 property, which is a little bit crazy because I remember when the Andaz Costa Rica was a Category 4. You used to be able to use your
Totally.
free night certificates there. So now it's a Category 7, which means it's 30,000 Hyatt points a night.
How many nights are you guys staying there?
We're saying 5.
Okay, we're going for 4, but then we're also going to, we're gonna go to another area. Am I gonna be sad that I only booked 4?
No, I think you'll be good. Like,
Okay,
so the first time we went, we stayed 3, and then this past time we stayed 4, and I was like, "Let's do 5 next time." So maybe
yeah.
next year we'll go and stay 6. But no, I think you'll be totally happy with 4. They have an amazing new beach club area where it's like a beach and they have a pool on the beach and they have a restaurant, and so they've made, like, significant improvements to their property since.
Just so you can justify, like, "Okay, yeah, I can see why you're not a category 4."
Yeah, yeah. So, I think it's totally worth 30,000 Hyatt points a night, and I feel like every time one of our followers goes, they send us a DM and they're like, "Oh my god, I just left the Andaz Papagayo and it was amazing." Like, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say anything negative about it. So,
Yeah.
I hope you love it. Pam loved it when she went, and so I think we're all good there. There are a couple of all-inclusive options in Costa Rica. I have not personally stayed at either of them. One is a Secrets. It's also 30,000 points a night. It's adults only. Pam stayed there with her friend. I think she just kinda, like, thought it was okay. I
Yeah.
know that she preferred the Andaz, and the Andaz is not adults only, but she still preferred just the vibe of the Andaz. And then there's also a Dreams property that's 25,000 points a night. That one is not adults only, so that's more family friendly. I've heard mixed reviews of that one, so I'm sorta not willing to roll the dice and try it. I'd rather just stick with what I know I like.
Yeah. But maybe if someone, like, loves all-inclusives.
Yeah, if you really want all-inclusive, if it's, like, all-inclusive or nothing, then I would definitely check out one of those properties. I'm sure that alright, so because Pam is not here, Alex is going to be speaking on her behalf, so just pretend like this is Pam.
Yeah. Pretend it's her. Okay, so you all know, my mom doesn't fly Southwest a lot. She has actually flown it with us this year, I think twice. So,
Oh, I have a funny story about that. I think one of our followers saw y'all on that flight, and she sent us a DM, and she was like, "I had to do a double take because I wasn't sure, like, I didn't think that Pam would be flying Southwest."
that is so funny. Yeah. Well, I mean, Pam's not too good for Southwest, she's fine with it. But her whole thing with Southwest or not flying Southwest a lot is she's always trying to keep her United status. So that way she can fly Economy Plus all the time. And with as much travel as she does in Denver, being a United hub, it works for her. So she'll join us on Southwest when United doesn't have a flight she needs, or if it's like way cheaper on Southwest. So a few of the times where she's flown Southwest have been to California because you can get really good rates for flights to California. And then, of course, we're going to stay in some Hyatt hotels. So, some of our favorites in California, which, of course, California is gigantic. So, there's tons of Hyatt properties there. But a few of our favorites that we've talked about numerous times on the podcast is one of them is the Hyatt Regency Huntington Beach. Love that one. Super great for families, but even my mom we went there with me, Jess, my mom, and my sister. She was doing photos for us. And even as adults without having kids, it was still great. So I would be fine staying there without kids. But yeah, category 6, so you're looking at 25,000 points a night. And then if you want to move a little further down the coast into the San Diego area, another one all 3 of us have stayed at is the Park Hyatt Aviara. It's a category 7, so 30,000 points a night. I'm pretty sure my mom liked the Park Hyatt Aviara a little more than the Hyatt Regency. It's just a little nicer. I mean, it's a Park Hyatt. It's more
But still
expensive.
super family friendly.
Yeah, but super family friendly. They have a really nice adults only pool at the Park Hyatt Aviara. I haven't used the spa there, but I would assume that it's very nice. I would 100% stay at the Park Hyatt Aviara without kids too, even though we saw a bunch. We were also there for spring break, so there's a lot of kids. But great place for a couple if you wanted to go and spend time at the spa, spend time at the adults only pool. Like I said, it's a really nice adults only pool. And there's golfing right there. So if your significant other likes to golf, it could be a really great stay. Additionally, my mom really loves the Seabird Resort, which is in Oceanside, California. And then right next to the Seabird is the Mission Pacific Beach Resort. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Mission Pacific Beach Resort. They're both category 6, 30,000 points a night. I haven't stayed at the Mission Pacific. I've only stayed at the Seabird, and same with my mom. Jess hasn't done either one, which you need to get on that. You need to change that.
I need to go to the Seabirds so
It's
badly. It
so
looks
cute.
so cute.
It's so cute. So I'm curious, like, what the Mission Pacific is like. I've heard people really like it because they're both newer, nicer hotels. I think the Seabird is more it seems a little more family friendly, but I think even if you went without like, my mom went with her stepmom and her sister, so you don't need to be like, "Oh, it's not necessarily a kids destination or kids resort, but family friendly for sure. So those are Pam's picks. Hopefully when she listens back, she's not like, "You did a terrible job." That's not what I would have said. Just kidding. She's super easygoing. She won't care. Um, I'm gonna share another California option though that I think is a really great sweet spot that I know we've definitely got some listeners and followers that are really interested in this property. It's the Alila Ventana Big Sur in Northern California. This is a category 8 property, so it is a splurge for sure. You're looking at 40,000 points per night. My husband and I went and stayed here last summer. We did 3 nights, and a lot of people ask in our Facebook group too, how many nights you should stay there. I thought I would not stay more than 3. I think 3 is great. I would even have been fine staying 2 nights and then going and staying in Carmel or Monterey for the last night and doing some stuff down there because there's not a ton to do. So it's definitely one of a kind property. You're up in the forest, you're in the redwood trees, you're right on the coast. So think, hiking, and they do have nice pools. They have a couple nice pools, but with being on the coast, on the North Coast, it can be a little foggy, it can be a little cooler, and I grew up, like, way North Coast up in Oregon, so for me, I felt like I was almost, like, back home, and I had forgotten how cold it can be, though. So we went, and, like, Mitch is walking around with the blanket, like a decorative blanket almost, not decorative, but it wasn't, like, a super cozy blanket, but it was there, like, for the purpose of wrapping up on a cold night, but he's walking around the resort like that, and I'm like, "We've gotta go find you a sweatshirt somewhere. This is hilarious." And he doesn't really get cold, and so it was a little chilly, we weren't expecting that, but, like, such a beautiful property. They have s'mores every night, they have a nice game room with a pool table. It felt just very it felt like glamping on steroids, I would say. The rooms are really, really nice, cabiny type feel, literally like such a beautiful place. So if that's like something that sounds up your alley, then I think you'd like it. It is all inclusive, adults only. The thing that I loved about the all inclusive aspect of it is it includes room service. So if we could there's only, like, one main restaurant, and so we kinda got tired of going to the restaurant, so we're like, "Let's just get room service and have it brought." So we really loved that, and then the other cool thing about it too is if you're going out for the day and you're gonna go on a hike or something like that, you can get a lunch to go. So you can do a room service lunch, they'll pack it up basically, they'll pack up a picnic lunch for you. So it's really, really, really great.
I am dying to go there.
Ted would love it, Jess. Ted would love it.
Do you remember this? I had it booked, and the day that we were leaving, Molly tested positive for the flu.
Yeah.
The day we were leaving.
Which that goes to show, like, maybe, like, tell us how you because people are thinking, like, "What did you do?" Because you obviously you
Yeah.
weren't going, but it was too late to cancel.
So what I did alright, this is a little trick for y'all. So what I did well, first we had no, actually, we were gonna fly into San Francisco, and we were gonna spend 1 night at the Grand Hyatt San Francisco, and then we were gonna drive the next day to the Ventana Big Sur, but I was still out. I was, like, not within the cancellation period for either hotel. I called the Grand Hyatt San Francisco, and I was like, "My daughter just tested positive for the flu. Will you please allow me to cancel and get my points back? I'm so sorry." I then the sweet woman just took pity on me, and I was like, "I will email you her positive test if you don't believe me." Like, they so she was really nice, and I wasn't as worried about that one because I think that was, like, 17,000 points or something, and
Yeah.
so, luckily, they were totally great about it, and they just canceled it right then, and they refunded my points. I was more concerned about Alila because I had booked it for 3 nights, that's 120,000 Hyatt points, and then I was way outside that like, I think with them, you have to cancel within, like, a week or 14 days. I mean, it's much more than, like, 24 or 48 hours, and so, what I did was I called Hyatt and I asked if I could what do you call it?
Move your
Re
dates?
yeah, like, rebook it for a later I explained the situation. I was like, "My daughter just tested positive for the flu, like, we can't leave her with my mom. Can I, m move the dates to a different date?" So I moved it to, like, a couple months later, and then I canceled because at that point, I was within the cancellation period because it was 2 months away, and I got my points back, and they didn't like, nothing ever happened. So,
Yeah. Nice. That's a
that's like a
good trick.
little trick. That's a little trick that I have used in the past. So, yeah, that's and then we've never managed to make our way back, so I still have to do that. But I'm glad you like, I wanna go in the summer because, like you said, like, I don't wanna go and it's gonna because 'cause y'all were there in early summer. Yeah, so I don't wanna go in, like, December when it's
No.
probably really
Yeah.
cold.
And the first couple and it wasn't like I guess it warmed up during the day, but it was chilly. Like, you're in the
Yeah,
mountains, and it was not sunny for us. And so the last day, the sun came out, though, and it was beautiful and warm. So, if you get a warm, sunny day, then you'll be golden. It's amazing when you get that kind of weather. So, yeah, I feel like there was something else I was gonna say about the property, but I can't quite remember. Oh, I do remember. So when we went there, I felt like, like I've heard of Big Sur. I didn't grow up right there. Like I grew up like I don't know, probably 5 hours north. And so I hadn't really been there, but I knew about it, and for some reason, when I was going, I was expecting it to have a town. Like, "Oh, there's gonna be restaurants we can drive to, and, like, a cute street we can walk down, and then there's gonna be the hotel," and no, it is not. Like, people probably like, "Duh, Alex, how did you not know that?" But it's literally in the middle of nowhere, this beautiful hotel in the middle of nowhere, and so you really are, like, glamping on steroids. So, I mean, that's the only way I'm going camping is at the Lila Ventana Big Sur these days.
agree.
Yeah. So, anyway, getting there, like Jess said, one option is to fly into San Francisco and then drive. It's about a 2.5-hour drive from San Francisco. We flew into San Jose on Southwest, and the reason we did that is because that was the only direct flight option from Salt Lake, and it's a little bit shorter, it's just over 2 hours of a drive from the San Jose airport, so super pretty drive, well, most of it, some of it. Some of it, once you gotta get out of San Jose, then it's really pretty when you get closer. You 100% need a rental car if you're gonna go here. Like, you're gonna need a rental car while you're there to, like, go to the beach and go see the redwoods and do all those types of things, so definitely gonna want a rental car, but yeah, if anybody wants to see more, I'll put a link to my blog post about it, and then we have a story highlight from my trip here if anybody wants to see it, because I kinda feel like it's one of those locations, like, you gotta see the pictures and the videos to kinda get a feel for it, but yeah, if you guys need to book it again because Ted would love just sitting there doing his crossword puzzles and you could work because Jess is not the best at relaxing. She'd be working instead of, like, reading a book or something.
I could go to the spa.
You can go to the spa. Oh my gosh, the spa there I didn't go because I couldn't bring myself to spend the money because it's really expensive, but it looked amazing. Like, they have these rooms that open up and, like, you're just looking at the redwood trees. Well, you're looking down with your face in the bed, but it's a really it looked really amazing.
Yeah, I would just be there and I would be in my robe ordering room service pretty much the whole time, is what
Yeah,
I think.
which, like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so now we're gonna cover some sweet spots that we haven't tried yet, but are at the top of our need to try list. So, Alex, what's, like, your number 1 Southwest Hyatt combo that you're wanting to try?
So, I really, really wanna take my kids to the Grand Hyatt Baja Mar. It looks so, so fun. So this is in the Bahamas. It's a category 6, so 25,000 points per night. When you stay there, you get access to the Baja Bay Water Park. It has like 10 water slides, lazy river, flow rider, a wave pool, beachfront property, clear, calm waters. It looks amazing. I have a neighbor. She didn't go to this resort, but she went to the Bahamas this summer, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, we loved it." Like, the water there and I've never been to the Bahamas. So I would just love to go, and yeah, it's one of those properties that I've been thinking about for like the last year. And the problem is I have too many things booked to then
No.
make time to go here. So I'm like, okay, I need to like make sure I get this on the books for, I don't know, maybe 2026. I'd love to go in 2025, but I feel like I have too much booked. And then I've got to take into account hurricane season because I'm like, oh, let's go in October, but I'm pretty sure, is this a hurricane place? I don't
Yeah,
even know. I think so.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
So I'm like, I don't really wanna go during
You might
hurricane
find some really
season.
good deals.
I might, and maybe we'd be fine, and there wouldn't be a hurricane. So, anyway, that's for sure. I know my mom has talked about that too, and is like, "When you go, let me know. We wanna go with you," and, of course, we would love my parents to come with us. So, Southwest flights from Salt Lake City, it looks a little painful, like really long days, but that's just how it goes when from Salt Lake City if you're going to, the east, like any of those islands, it's
Yeah.
kind of a headache. And it's even kinda like that to go to Costa Rica. I actually found some pretty decent flights, but that's partly why they were so expensive because it's just harder to get to from Salt Lake. But they Southwest has direct flights from Orlando and Baltimore, so if you're in any of those areas or can get to those areas, you can get a nice direct flight for around 20 to 30,000 points round trip. So, not too shabby. So, I mean, my thought is maybe we would, like, fly to Florida, stay the night, and then go the next day and kinda break it up. Maybe even go to, like, Harry Potter World or something like that.
Disney World, I know you're dying to go there, so
Yeah. No, we won't be making it to Disney World. That just gives me too much anxiety. I'm like, that's too much. I really like Disneyland, but I it took me a while to get to the point where I didn't feel overwhelmed just going to Disneyland. So I think Disney World's out of the question. Okay, Jess, what Hyatt Southwest sweet spot is on your list?
alright, so there is a Park Hyatt coming to Cabo that I am so excited about. So I went to the website. I hadn't I'm usually stalking these Hyatts that are in the pipeline coming soon, but I hadn't been to the Park Hyatt Cabo website in a while. So I went earlier today when I was preparing for this episode, and it now says it's opening early 2025. So that is really exciting because I'm hoping that means like in the next 6 months or so, it'll be opening. And so I don't know what category it's going to be yet because we won't know until it's open for bookings. I'm assuming it's gonna be a 7 or an 8, which would be either 30,000 Hyatt points a night or 40,000 Hyatt points a night. So, I'm just gonna assume that it's gonna be a 7 or an 8, but I was looking at the website. They have, like, renderings on the website of what it's gonna look like, and it looks so amazing. There's gonna be 5 pools. There's gonna be a Camp Hyatt for kids, and so I think it's gonna be a really awesome place for families or couples, Like, it looks like it can go either way. I love places with lots of pools and lots of options. I love Cabo. It's beautiful, and so I'm really looking forward to checking that one out. Southwest flies direct from Houston to Cabo. I have actually taken this flight before. Ella and Molly and I went to the Cape in October 2022. Like we were saying, October off peak, you can find some good deals. It's also hurricane season, but Cabo isn't as much of a threat. Like I feel safer going to Cabo during hurricane season than Cancun. We paid 11,600 Southwest points round trip
That's
for each
insane.
of us.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
I mean, and taxes to Mexico are a little higher. I think they were like 114 or 140. I know there was a 1 and a 4 in there.
Yeah.
And so you're looking at over $100 in taxes, but you're flying internationally to Mexico, and so I'm hoping to go in October again. And
No, you
then
know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that we put this on the short list for Travel Mom Squad Retreat
uh,
2025. So we always go on a retreat, usually
yeah,
December, to kind of, plan next year's, like make plans for the upcoming year, go over our goals for that last year, make new goals. And I'm thinking this would be a really good spot for
Yes.
Travel Mom Squad Retreat 2025.
And we could get
And it's a
the con
quick, easy flight for all 3 of us.
it's a quick, easy flight for yeah, we try to choose places that are convenient, you know, because 'cause we're coming from Houston, Salt Lake, and Denver.
And it's, like, December, so it's, like, a busy time of year with the holidays, and so we don't like to go
So
too far.
we try to go, like, early December. So the period between Thanksgiving and Christmas is also a really good time to travel if you can. I know that that's tricky for a lot of people, but, like, late November to mid-December, you can usually find really good deals on
Yeah.
flights and hotels because it's kinda like the off time when, like, everyone's traveling for Thanksgiving, everyone's traveling for the winter holidays, but no one's traveling in between. So that's when we try to go so that we can,
And I think
you know
every year we've booked, we've always gotten off-peak pricing at the hotels we've
yeah.
gone to for that very reason. So, I'm saying let's do it.
I mean, I know Pam is not
Let's have
here, but
she has Park Hyatt in the name, she's sold.
if it has Park Hyatt and Cabo, I feel like there's 0 chance she's gonna say no to that. So
Yeah,
I agree with you.
agreed. Okay, well, speaking of Pam, here is I'm gonna pretend to be her once again. For her, like, I really wanna try out this Hyatt Southwest combo. She chose the Miraval, Arizona. I feel like it used to be called the Miraval Tucson. Does that
Yeah,
sound right? But I was
they must have
looking
changed
it up,
it.
and it's called the Miraval, Arizona now. So it is located though in Tucson, which is about an hour and a half from the Phoenix airport. And it's really easy to find cheap direct flights on Southwest from Denver to Phoenix. It's typically around 12 to 15,000 points round trip. I was looking at like February 2025 and that's the pricing I found. So the thing with Miraval though is it has its own award pricing and it ain't cheap. You're going to be spending a lot of points. So you're looking at 45,000 points a night, standard pricing for single occupancy. And if you want to, I think most people will want to go with somebody. Definitely not everybody. I actually do know a lot of people who've gone to this resort by themselves because it is like a very tranquil place where you can just have focus on me time. But for single, it's 45,000 points a night. Double occupancy is 65,000 points a night. So costing you a pretty penny when it comes to your World of Hyatt points. But one nice thing about it is you do get a $175 spa credit per person. And then it
And
is
that's per night too. It's not even just, like, for your whole stay, it's per night, $175.
does $175 go very far there?
Probably not. You can maybe get, like, a 30-minute foot massage.
But can you apply it to like, okay, if I wanted to book the 60-minute massage, I will get $175 off?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So the nice thing about it though too is it is all inclusive. It is adults only. So with it being all inclusive, all of your meals, snacks, drinks are included and it definitely is a more healthy, fresh type food. Lots of wellness activities, those are included, fitness classes. It just seems like it is a very unique experience, very restorative, connecting with yourself, nature. I don't know. Is it connecting with nature? You wouldn't know, Jess. I don't know.
It yeah, it's connecting with nature, I feel like. I've been to the one in Austin, so I haven't been to the one in Arizona. But, I mean, when you think about it, it includes all of your meals, you know? So it
Yeah,
doesn't include alcohol, but it includes all your meals and your non-alcoholic drinks. It includes a ton of these wellness activities and sessions. And so, yes, 45,000 points for one person or 65,000 for two is a lot, but you're pretty much not paying for a single thing while you're there. It even includes gratuity. They do not let you tip.
that's amazing.
The other thing I know, so when I went by myself. I went to the Miraval Austin, and so I just drove from Houston to Austin. I stayed for 2 nights, and it was amazing. I would 100% go back. I haven't made it. I wanna go to the one in Arizona because that's the original one, and I think it's a little bigger.
Jess got it for a deal. that we've all been waiting for them to bring back. What was it? Like a
It was buy one, get one free, and
Yeah,
so
which was insane. And we've been waiting for them to bring that back, and they never did, so I would not count on it.
I think that was, like, a pandemic special.
But would you pay the 45K now?
Yes,
Okay.
because like, I like going and knowing, like, everything's included. I don't even have to tip. I don't have to there's no, like, there's no, like, mental energy being spent on, like, how much money am I spending? How much do I need to tip? Like, it's all just once you pay the points,
Yeah,
unless you're spending more, you're going over your spa credit, you're not paying any money,
yeah,
and so it's, like, truly relaxing, and their offerings, their fitness classes, and their wellness activities are really nice. Like, I did floating meditation and, like, a sound bath. Ted would hate this place. I will never bring Ted to Miraval, but, and they also have it's digital free, and so you can't, like, have your phone out at restaurants. You can't they have a little bed for you to put your phone on.
that's so
So
great.
it's definitely
It's like sounds
unique.
like a really great place to go if you want you like, "I need a reset, like, I need to just, like,
Yeah.
decompress, take a break from life for a minute, and just, like, recharge."
I will say the food is super healthy, and I was like, "Man, I just want, like, a burger and fries." What is a girl gonna do to get a burger and fries? So, yeah, as soon as I left, I was like, "I'm going to McDonald's."
That's
But
hilarious.
But some people really like that, if you are really
Yeah,
into the fresh, healthy meals, then this is the place for you.
yeah,
And I was only there for 2 like, I could do it for 2 nights, but I would not wanna stay there for, like, a week. A,
yeah,
because I would run out of all my points, but B, it's just very different from my everyday life.
yeah. So
So
how many nights would you stay if you were
I
going to
would stay if
Arizona?
I went again, I would stay 2 nights
Okay.
because it's just so many points. I mean, the nice thing is, like, I know people who have gone, like, with a friend or with their mom, and then they're splitting it. So
Yeah,
if you can get the 65K point double occupancy and split it with someone,
yeah,
then I would like, that is it. That's a really good deal, I think.
yeah. Because you would each get the 175 spot credit every night.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well,
And
and
then
I
it's
was looking
32,500,
Yeah,
a person versus 65,000.
yeah. Maybe we should take my mom and me and
And
my
my
mom and
mom
you and your mom, and we could do this. Because the problem is if we take me, you, and my mom, it doesn't work out, like, it's more expensive, and so we need your mom to come too.
but what is Pam gonna do when she can't have her laptop out in any of the public places?
For reals. Is another thing I was noticing though too is the cash rates are over $1,000 a night per
Yeah.
person. So even though that's a ton of points, you're getting at least 2 cents per point with those cash rates. Like at the minimum, you're gonna get 2 cents per point. So it's a good redemption. Was looking at it earlier today, and on some of the dates, I was even getting 3 cents per point. So
Wow.
not a bad use of your points. And now I'm like, well, I want to do this one and Park Hyatt Cabo.
Yeah, I mean, they're both like, Miraval, I think it's definitely worth experiencing at least once. There's 3 locations. There's Arizona, Austin, and the Berkshires. I don't know anything about the Berkshires location, really,
I don't either. I would do
but
Arizona because 1, it's easy to get
yeah.
to, and it's the original.
Yeah, it's the original. You gotta try out the OG,
Yeah, and
so
I feel like anybody I know who has stayed here has absolutely loved it. Like, it's a one of their top stays ever.
we have a blog post that we could put. I wrote a blog post.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the show notes for that one.
Sounds good. Well, as you can see, Southwest plus Hyatt is a winning combo in the points and miles world. Don't forget to get those free guides that we mentioned at the beginning of the show so you can learn even more about getting nearly free trips with these 2 programs. Thanks so much for listening to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad. Make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button from wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. Want to start jet setting even faster? Follow the links in the show notes to learn about everything we discussed in today's episode. And to stay connected and follow along, follow us on Instagram at Travel Mom Squad. We can't wait to see where in the world points and miles take you.